Yo, what's up, YouTube Boxing family? It's K right here. I'm back out of here with D-Hive, with like
Yo,
another boxing, you know, talking session, and we're gonna talk about various topics. So yeah, let's get right into it. I guess did you hear about the news with what Lomachenko said about Devin Haney?
yeah, he said that Shakur was the easier fight, right? I mean, no, Shakur was the harder fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good. It always sounds good until it's actually time to fight Devin Haney. As Lomachenko was faced with, he was faced with fighting Devin Haney, who was mandatory at the time, and decided he didn't want to defend his belt.
Yeah, and funny how ESPN is really thinking like Lomachenko is still undisputed, and they try to act like he's just gonna come right back into the lightweight mix, and honestly, like I don't know if this is a good idea, but like could it be like right for Devin Haney to say, look, I'll fight Loma, but I'm not gonna fight at 135. I'm gonna fight him at 140, and he could come in at the fight at like a catchweight, for all the belts, and then if Lomachenko beats him, he could be undisputed, and then Devin could just move up to 140,
And hell
something like
yeah,
that.
that's more than fair. I would definitely drag his ass up to 140 and drown him.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's like
you're talking all that good shit, and keep in mind, he could have fought Shakur. He was talking all that big shit about how he could make 130 if he wanted to. If he really thought that, he could have fought Shakur. But no, he didn't. So I ain't trying to hear that weak shit. Didn't even want to fight Haney. You're talking big shit about a guy you didn't even want to fight.
yeah, because like what gets me so pissed off is like Lomachenko thinks he's gonna just run through everybody, and it's like the walls are closing in on you, and you're 35 years old, and if Lomachenko looks like crap against Jermaine Ortiz, then I don't see Loma having any chance of winning because I got money on Jermaine. But let's just say if he gets a gifted decision against Jermaine, like Devin or Shakur is just gonna light him up, like either way.
I think
Because
I I,
yeah,
I think that Lomachenko's gonna win that fight, but I hope he loses because if Jermaine whips his ass, then Shakur Stevenson should just fight Devin Haney next, and then we're gonna get a lot of questions answered at that fight.
yeah. I'm just hoping like Jermaine wins because like I think he deserves to like be matched up with like all the top competition. And knowing that people don't think he's good, but it's like he's like he's been matched up very tough. Like he's basically going through like the similar route that Devin went through, but like the only difference is just like he doesn't turn down any tough level opposition. And my favorite fight that I've ever watched out of him was the Joseph Adorno fight, and he looked like he was about to get stopped in that fight, but he came right back, from up the knockdowns, and he was just like whipping on on Adorno to basically make a comeback to win, to win in the later rounds. And I actually thought he actually edged it out in a split decision. Don't know how the judges gave it like a draw, but I think that fight shows how much dog Jermaine has, because if he didn't have any dog, then I probably wouldn't have thought of him to be that good of a fighter, and he probably would have been stopped already. But if he shows that same version of himself, mixed with the the Jamel Herring performance, I think I think he has a very high chance of beating Lomachenko, because I don't think Lomachenko is as hungry as he used to be. And on top of that, I don't know if you've realized it, but it seems like Lomachenko is not really incentivized of wanting to fight anymore. I don't know if you see that out of him.
No, I don't see that. I think he definitely wants to be back on top. I don't think that he lost his hunger at all. The thing is, though, is that he never wanted to fight Devin Haney because that's a bad situation. It's a bad style matchup. Because Devin Haney has that unique factor that a lot of other fighters don't have, which is adaptability. Once they see a look a few times, they're gonna adapt to it and they're gonna change their strategy. Like that whole shifting bullshit. First of all, Lomachenko ain't even the first person to attack on angle. That's like fucking Mike Tyson. And second of all, anybody that has a long reach and actually knows how to use it whoops that ass. And Devin Haney happens to be that person. So that's why he never wanted to fight him. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I just find it so crazy because it's like, you know, you've now made Devin like a way better fighter, and you know, I don't know if that's like a recipe for disaster for Lomachenko, because doesn't that hurt your career worse if you get beat by a prime version of Devin Haney that comes out to like basically beat you up for 12 rounds versus like you could have had the opportunity to just whip on Devin Haney when he was like a young 20-year-old version of himself, and at least that way, even if Devin lost to Loma, like he actually would have had more credibility of having a win over Devin. And then let's just say if he beat Tio for undisputed that following year, that would have been pretty good because Lomachenko, he was basically one fight like away. He should have just fought Devin, and
bro,
that was it.
That's what a lot of these big dudes don't understand. That you want to get the young guns while they're young, while they're inexperienced, before they fight people that are either similar or better than you. And if you're going to take a risk, then that's what you got to do. And also, let me put this out there. Lomachenko could fight Shakur Stevenson next. Shakur ain't got no fight. He could easily fight Shakur Stevenson next, but he's not. He's fighting fucking Jermaine Ortiz because he's unsure of himself, and he probably loses to both Devin Haney and Shakur, and he wants the fucking paycheck off Devin Haney.
Yeah.
That's it. Because he could easily be fighting Shakur right now. So all that, oh, he's a warrior, he wants to fight the best, bullshit.
Yeah. Man, Lomachenko, like, I wish I was at this fight because I was literally telling like you know, other people that I know that, you know, that will probably go to like, the fight out there, and they literally said like if he gets exposed one bit by Jermaine, it's basically over. Because like the last time that we've ever seen Lomachenko look really bad probably was like the, oh man, like I forgot what fight it was, but I'd probably say like the worst version of Lomachenko probably had to been probably the Teofimo fight, because he didn't look like he was ever prepared in that fight, and he just like fell off after that. And then once he came back to fight Nakatani, like he just basically just didn't look any better. And then leading up to Kome, he was just playing like around, and surprisingly, I just found it surprising why Kome wasn't able to hurt Loma, because he had plenty of opportunities to actually hit him with like some mean heavy shots, but Lomachenko was just like,
Kome's not good.
Yeah,
Kome's not good, just like Nakatani's not good. What the fuck is Nakatani famous for? What is he famous for? Nothing. These dudes accomplish nothing.
Yeah,
These dudes aren't good. It's that simple. He can't hurt. He's not good.
Yeah, so basically Lomachenko ain't shit. You know, if he,
I'm not gonna say he ain't shit, but the people that he's been fighting ain't shit. Like it's easy to look good against Luke Campbell. It's easy to look good against Anthony Croza. It's easy to look good against a Regan Dow that's coming up to weight class. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't stand fighters where they get all this credit and they've never been in a match in which they were favored to lose.
Yeah.
Like everybody except like 3 people on earth thought that Lomachenko was going to beat Teofimo. And it turns out that Lomachenko is scared of big ass dudes. Now I know Devin looks like a stick at the weigh-in, but Devin Haney is not a small ass fighter. And if Lomachenko comes at it with the mentality that, oh, he can't punch, he's going to get his ass killed.
Yeah, I think if Devin fights Loma, but I think Devin should actually just basically say F you to Loma. Like, I'm not gonna fight you at 135. Like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, try to fight you at a catch weight. And Devin should just come in like you know, super rehydrated. Like he should just come in super big in that fight, and he should just beat the shit out of Loma, because Lomachenko has like no control, you know, over the, you know, negotiations if he fights Devin. So if I'm Devin, shouldn't I just basically say F you, dude? Like, you know, this is like my, you know, A-side fight? right?
Well, Devin Haney is a warrior and he's a professor. So those things, like, you might just want to fight him at 135 just to say, bitch, even at my worst, you couldn't beat me. Even at my worst. That's how Devin just wants to prove that he's the best, that he's better than everyone else, and that's why he was calling out everyone who was a child. He had almost no. I mean, Devin Haney's been fighting undefeated fighters. You know, he's fought 5 of them so far. But even as a child, he was calling these dudes out. Nobody calls Tank out. Nobody calls Lomachenko out. But Devin Haney did, and then what they do, they didn't do shit.
Yeah, because I don't want to see Devin, you know, drain himself anymore at 135. But I think at this point, like, he should just get Loma out the way if he wants to, and then, you know, just basically move on to 140. But I think for his last fight, you know, against Loma, that fight should be a catch weight for undisputed, because it's like Devin has already beat everybody. So, you know, like you know, just beating Lomachenko as, you know, the A side, having an advantage over him makes the best sense versus coming in at a disadvantage, and then Lomachenko can just have like a way to like try to rob Devin on the cards.
Well, that might happen anyway. That might happen no matter what weight the fight takes place, because once the fight is back in the United States, that's where Bob Arum has control. And Bob Arum knows that aside from Shakur Stevenson, if Haney beats Lomachenko, aside from Shakur Stevenson and maybe Teofimo, there ain't no smoke at the top rank, and also he's got to renegotiate the contract. Now, if Haney can put himself in a position where he can make himself on a fight-by-fight basis, that would be good. But you know, Bob Arum's greedy ass is going to try to get him in a multi-fight deal, and that's what sucks.
So, do you see Haney being trapped at top rank now?
That's going to be up to him and his father. I mean, personally, he wants to move up to 140. Top rank only has one belt, and that belongs to Josh Taylor. And Bill Haney said that him and Josh Taylor aren't going to fight because Josh Taylor, Ben Davidson trained Josh Taylor, and Ben Davidson trained Haney, so he feels that he'll give him some information that might be to the detriment. So if I was Devin Haney, I'll whoop on my ass and back this shit up. Fuck y'all. And fuck y'all for trying to force a deal. It was trash. I'm over here making big bread. Now I'm deciding to put the ass down. That's real mean. Fuck you.
Yeah, because I want to see I want to see Devin basically like pull off like a Floyd Mayweather where he's just fighting on multiple platforms. And I think at this point of his career, like personally, like I want to see Devin fight on PBC and like beat up all the PBC guys, and then just turn back around to like maybe like DAZN or maybe Top Rank. But like I think at this point of Devin's career, like he's gonna start getting like all the big money fights where you know some of the big names will fight him, but it's gonna be very difficult to like try to beat up on like the politically protected fighters from Top Rank and maybe some people off of Matchroom. But I think PBC is probably gonna pick up Devin at some point in time.
It's not about if they pick him up. It's about how they negotiate their business and who they got. Because he goes to PBC, I mean, there's some good fights between 135 and 140. But as far as 140, all they got is Antoine Russell. All they got is Antoine Russell, and they got Super Matthias, which is cool. But outside of that, it's kind of thin over there. I mean, I'm not saying there's bad fights, but actually, Alberto Puello's got a title, so he might be able to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna add that in, but yeah, like I don't see like what other big fights he could get. I mean, after that,
Tank's not gonna fight him. Tank could have fought him at any fucking point. Devin Haney's been a free agent for the majority of his career. Tank, bro, let's see what Tank's on.
Yeah, because like after I say after basically like Josh Taylor is out of the division, and once like everybody else gets a title at 140, I think Devin's just gonna go ahead and just make all the big let the big fights where the bigger money is. So I think Devin should just go ahead and go that route and stop waiting up on certain fighters that don't want to fight you to begin with.
he doesn't wait on fighters. That's why he fought Linares. That's why he fought Jojo Diaz. That's why he's been fighting the dudes he's been fighting, because he has to stay busy and he has to make money. I mean, he's already got money, but he's a damn fighter. Like, people gotta understand. The only reason why I fought Jojo Diaz, like why he even does the mandatory game, is because no one else fights him. It's the same reason that Jamal Charlo is out where he's at, because nobody else is fighting. What are these two supposed to do? 135 doesn't have a Sean Porter that'll go fight everybody. 135 doesn't have a Deverenchenko that'll go fight everybody. Those dudes wanted to fight because they're fighters and they didn't give a fuck about losses. 135 don't have that. They're a bunch of pussy-ass prima donnas, and then Devin Haney, he's by himself. Don't nobody want to do no work. Everybody wants to do their ass chest. It's pathetic. And you know, and it's crazy because Leonard Ellerby swears that you can't do cross promotion or Devin Haney's on the wrong side of the street or whatever. But yeah, Tank is aggressively pursuing Ryan Garcia. And what's crazy is they say that Ryan Garcia is a bigger star than Devin Haney, and yet they're more persistent about offering him a fight. What happened? I thought the money was funny. Ryan's not happy. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I agree. Cause like take a look at that fucking former opponent of Isaac Pitbull Cruz that's fighting this weekend. Jose Romero, right? Or Juan Matias, Romero. He fought on PBC against Pitbull, but he's fighting Odysee Ramirez, on short notice. So, cross promotional fights are really not hard to do. It's just that, to me personally, like, I think promoters just don't want to see their fighters get beat up, and the fighters don't want to lose their O. And then once they finally lose,
it's not even necessarily about the promoters. A fighter can put his foot down and say, "Look, I'm not fighting anything else until X, Y, Z happens." Why do you think while Mikey Garcia was at Top Rank, he got put on the bench for 2 to 4 years? Because he said, "I'm not fighting another goddamn fight until this gets sorted out." And he didn't fight. That's what happens when a fighter really wants to smoke. That's why Mikey Garcia has the resume that he has, and Terrence Crawford don't have shit. That's why Mikey Garcia actually got a Spence fight instead of talking about one. If he wanted to fight Spence, he made that shit happen. He went against everybody. His brother, his family, Al Heyman, they all don't do it. But he said, "Man, fuck y'all, I'm getting the Spence fight." And guess what? He got the Spence fight. Now, did he? Now he got his ass beat, but that's life. So I get tired of people assuming that because the promoter makes a fight, that the fight is going to happen. No, a promoter or any business entity cannot make a fighter sign on the dotted line. The fighter has to want the fight and sign. We've seen that. PPC made a fight for Terrence Crawford, and he decided not to sign. That's on Terrence Crawford. Nobody else. Like, what can we do? What can we do?
Yeah, I agree. Because it just makes no sense. Like, there's just too many holes in the equation that doesn't add up. And when you just look at the landscape of any division, like, a lot of these guys are just not being vocal when it comes to the table of just making all the fights happen. But it's like take a look at like those journeymen that get fights, like Gabe Rosado, Derek Chisora. All these journeyman fighters are always able to get fights, but when you look at guys like your Dennis Ugas and all those guys, right, that have difficulty of making fights, it's they seem to be put on the shelf more because nobody doesn't want to get beat up by them, right?
I mean, we always say, or it's commonly said in boxing that easy fights get made. It's true. Easy fights get made. People like Chisora and Gabe Rosado and Deverenchenko at this point, they're not going to have any issue getting fights because they're beatable. They know that they could be a good comeback fight for somebody. They know this. I was like, look at all Munguia's opponents. Them niggas not going to struggle getting any fights. Nobody knows who they are. They're not good. That's why they get the fights that they get. But because the easy fights get made. Easy fights always get made. But when there's a situation in which because a loss, like I said on another show, a loss can set you back not only career wise but in the rankings, and you may actually have to end up fighting some people you don't want to fight. For example, look at Lomachenko. Lomachenko never in life wanted to fight Devin Haney, but since he lost, he now has to come see him if he wants to get back on top, and that's why people try not to lose.
Yeah, but it's like if fighters were getting paid like lump sums of money and they didn't have to worry about like the financial ramifications of losing their biggest payday, then shouldn't it just be easy for any fighter to say, hey, like I'll take the fight, but if I get my butt whooped, like it doesn't matter because I'm getting paid.
It should, but there are a lot of fighters, unfortunately, are thinking far too long term as far as their careers go. They don't want to put anything on the goddamn line. And also, they see people like Terrence Crawford. They see people like Tank. They see people like Canelo clearing maximum amounts of money for absolutely no competition. And they're like, hey, why can't that be me? Why can't that be me? That person is pound for pound, whatever, for beating up absolutely nobody. And yet you're asking me to fight the top guys for a little bit of money? No. Why can't that be me? Why can't I be Terrence Crawford, fight absolutely nobody, and be pound for pound number one and get a lot of money? Why can't that be me? That's what happens. And that's why these dudes are diseased.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking with Don Shada yesterday, like about that, and we were bringing up the whole situation with Tevin Farmer when he went over to DAZN and he just fought basically like a laundry list of bums that no one basically ever asked him to fight, and he did that until Jojo Diaz pulled his card and beat him. And look at where he's at now. He's not wanting to get in there with like any top guy right now, and he could very well do it probably right now, but it's like just seems like he's too comfortable because it's like he probably made all that money from from a DAZN.
All right, well, let me keep it real. Let me keep it real on Tevin Farmer. So Tevin Farmer has about 20 amateur fights, give or take, and he has 20 amateur fights. As a pro, he already has 5-6 losses, and he can't punch for shit. So Tevin Farmer found out very early the caliber of fighter he is. That's why he started starting businesses and finding avenues out of boxing very early, because he knew he wasn't going to survive the top. Like, people keep talking about, Tank avoided Tevin Farmer. Bro, Tank at any weight class would have destroyed Tevin Farmer permanently, bro. That's why he turned down $2 billion to not fight Tank. Like, people keep talking okay, would it have been an interesting fight at the time because Tevin Farmer could move a little bit and it would test Tank's gas tank? Absolutely. But in reality, he could have got beat up too. You keep talking about Tevin Farmer like he's some damn Pete Whitaker. Bro, no, he's never that dude. Tevin Farmer, defensively skilled, a decent boxer, but his best win is stopping some British dude. I don't remember if it was Terry Flanagan or somebody stopped some British dude. That was his best win. Bro, y'all gotta stop. And so Tevin Farmer, that's why he very quickly was finding avenues out of boxing and starting businesses, because he knew the caliber of fighter that he was. And he knew he wasn't going to last in the elite ranks. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I just feel bad for him because it's I actually thought Tevin Farmer, was actually able to beat Gervonta when I was hearing, hearing about the talks back in from 2013 heading into early 2016, but after that point, in time, I was just oh yeah, this is why Tevin's not beating Tank, and I was just basically looking at all the avenues that he took, and he just didn't want basically any smoke with him.
I mean, the sad reality is that Tevin Farmer does not do anything good enough to trouble Tank. He doesn't jab good enough. He doesn't move good enough. He doesn't punch good enough. He doesn't box good enough. He doesn't brawl good enough. He doesn't do good enough. It's just what it is. It's just like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia don't do shit good enough to get Tank. That's why people keep saying, "Oh, he has a puncher's chance." Okay, a lot of people got a puncher's chance, bro. Reality, the man is vulnerable to Tank's single best punch. Like, oh, bro, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, speaking of Gervonta, who do you think he's gonna fight next?
I don't know. I know it's not Ryan, because if that was the case, then they would have been signed that shit up. Because Ryan is thirsty as fuck. But Ryan don't want to really fight him. So I keep hearing Adam Mara's, and I really hope not. But they might try to make Michelle Rivera. They might try to do some different things. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. And, to be honest, I'm really not too concerned. I know it's not gonna be anybody good. So I don't really care.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe Chris Colbert, but probably not.
Chris Colbert doesn't even want to fight Frank Martin. Hell no. Hell no. Definitely.
It's gonna end up like a Omar Juarez versus All Rivera.
Yeah, no. Chris Colbert gonna stay his ass at 130 and try to work out there. Like I said, Chris Colbert is another dude. Came in, a lot of hype, but ultimately he doesn't do anything good enough. He doesn't. I don't know how the hell he got the name Little B-Hop. I don't know where that came from. He fight that doesn't like B-Hop. The only thing that him and B-Hop got in common is that they fight boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah. Basically, I was just saying that. I agree. I think at this point of a lot of fighters that everyone thought they were gonna be good. They're just starting to fall off now, and boxing is definitely becoming more unpredictable with a lot of these matchups. But it's kind of like funny because I actually heard Shakur Stevenson say the other day that he wishes that there was like a Super 6 tournament back again for 135. I think that might be like a good idea, but I don't think a lot of guys at 135 want to get beat up.
No, I mean Shakur Stevenson, that was some convenient timing, but he's just saying that because he knows that number one, Devin Haney's gonna and number two is because he spends a lot of time around Andre Ward. And what I think he really wants to do is he wants to like win that tournament and then ride that shit as his career accolade and excuse to not fight anybody else. Because there are two people that Shakur Stevenson spends a lot of time around. There's a lot of time around Andre Ward. He spent a lot of time around Terrence Crawford. And Andre Ward fought the best competition he could in his day. But Terrence Crawford hasn't, and Andre Ward retired early. So, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think like Shakur is like, I don't know. Part of me feels like he's like turning into Terrence Crawford 2.0.
No, he's not turning into Terrence Crawford. People are turning him into Terrence Crawford, and because of that, he's going to start acting like Terrence Crawford. Because these dudes, unfortunately, because their father figures are somewhat like sketch, they are going to act the way the fan base dictates. The fan base dictates a lot of their actions, and a lot of people don't readily realize that. Their fan bases tell them how to act. Their fan bases feed them narratives to go off of, and they use them.
Yeah,
like Terrence Crawford does what he does because his fan base, as tiny as they are, they put no pressure on him to do shit else. They put no pressure on him to fight anybody. Like, look, when Shakur Stevenson was at 130, people were already saying, "Oh, everyone at 135 is gonna duck." What? He's at 130. What are you talking about? He hasn't done that. And now that he's already out, people are already saying, "Oh, Devin Haney's gonna duck. Watch." He's gonna move to 140. I'm like, bro, Devin Haney been talking about going to 140 before he fought JoJo Diaz. Like, what are y'all talking about?
Yeah, you got idiots saying Shakur could beat guys at 147 too.
I mean, maybe he can, but we gotta see it.
Yeah, I think Shakur will get eaten, like alive at 47. But I'm down for it. Like if if he got balls to do it, then go for it.
My thing is, we have to see it. Stop saying that Shakur Stevenson is the ultimate badass and his best win is a dude that's never held the belt in his entire life. Like, stop doing that shit. And also, the same people that will say Devin Haney is boring and can't punch will be in love with Shakur Stevenson. How do you figure that? Shakur Stevenson is not some amazing power puncher. He's the dude that just boxes like Devin Haney, bro. Like, shit, at least Devin Haney actually tries to throw some venom and some punches in there. Shakur Stevenson will be content to box the entire time. Like fucking Nakatila. Nakatila had him worried about the power. They talking about, oh, he'll easily outbox Tank. Like, bro, no one's easily beating Tank. Shut up. That was stupid. Talking about, oh, he's not about to easily do shit at the elite level.
Man, I just don't want to see Shakur get knocked out. That's like my biggest concern about him, because when Nakatila hurt him, it made me think like Shakur don't got a chin. And even with Conceição, he actually drilled him with some heavy loaded shots, and like it's just making me think Shakur doesn't like to actually go to deep waters when somebody hurts him. But I think obviously credit to BFPD, but he said the other day that if Shakur plans on fighting the way he does, where he's flat-footed, he wants to go toe-to-toe with you, he believes that's going to get him knocked out, especially against like a guy like Gervonta or somebody that's not afraid to punch hard enough to actually push him back and actually force him off of his back foot and be pressured. And like you said the other day, like Shakur likes to clinch a lot and rely off of the referee to basically save him in certain situations. And I think that's going to basically damage his career, because he's going to think that he's going to give up the benefit of the doubt when he's in, like a very difficult fight. And I don't think that's a smart idea. Like, I think Shakur is going to get exposed in, one of those fights. And, he could very well get himself hurt, because he's just not like he's not really using his actual gifts of like what he's known to be. Like, he's trying to fight like a brawler now versus being like a bona fide pure boxer. Oh. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You can hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, you can?
Yeah. I'm texting you right now. Like, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, cool. My bad. Yeah, but you were saying I cut out by accident. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Like, it's all good. Yeah, I was just saying, like, Shakur Stevenson is like fighting very irresponsibly now in his career, and like you said like the other day, like I think you said this in the past, but if he continues to like fight irresponsibly to try to rely off of the referee to basically save him in certain situations when he clinches a lot, that's gonna be like a recipe for disaster for him. To get knocked out, in the future.
I don't think it's going to be a recipe for disaster per se. I just think that when he's doing that, other fighters that have some goddamn sense are going to, like, for example, Tank is Like people talk about Shakur or whatever. Like, bro, Tank is a mean dude, and Tank is a mean dude. And the thing is, when you put him or Devin Haney in a position where they might fuck around and lose, they're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen. And when Shakur gets uncomfortable, he cries for the ref. He tries like he holds and does bullshit. Like Devin Haney is better in the clinch than Shakur Stevenson. And Tank doesn't need to clinch. If you try to clinch Tank, he's gonna hit you in the goddamn liver. He's gonna be like, get off. Like the moment, because the thing is, Shakur has short arms. Tank has short arms. Devin Haney will keep Shakur on the outside for the most part and try to counter him and be a big man. He'll be a big man and throw the overhand right and uppercuts like he always does to smaller opponents. Tank, bro, like all Tank needs is one shot. And dudes gotta stop. Dudes gotta stop thinking that Shakur, dude, his boxing skills don't translate to a chin, bro. His boxing skills don't translate to a vest over his liver, bro. If he tries to punch Tank, Tank is gonna punch. And it's going to be bad, and we're going to see what he's really made of. And like you were saying with the referee, if Tank does something that he thinks is illegal, and he looks to the referee, and the referee doesn't say shit, in the time he's communicating with the referee, Tank will close the distance and hit him. People think that, I don't know what it is, because Tank doesn't move because he hasn't fought anybody. But Tank is fast. Tank is very fast. Tank is faster than Shakur on the feet and on the hand. Shakur has a very high ring IQ and is fast enough. But the reality is, like, I know Tank can't fight nobody, but, like, he knows Shakur, bro. And honestly, Tank has a better resume than Shakur still. So I can't stand these dudes coming out of nowhere. Oh, my God, Shakur destroys everyone. He's the closest thing to Mayweather. Based off of what? Based off of what? Do you think Mayweather would be going 12 rounds between 126 and 130? Mayweather will cook his entire resume, bro.
Man. I was actually talking with like man, who was that one fighter that I think I was talking with Zarina back in the past, but she's a female fighter that's part of Rolando's camp,
Right.
Romero's camp. I think she trains with Coach Bullet, but she has like her own stable of people that she trains with. But she was telling me at the Mayweather gym, they have like the doghouse rules, right, for sparring, and a lot of those guys be like trying to impress Floyd Mayweather so they could try to get their fighters signed or try to get like part of what the Mayweather crew. But what ends up happening is that they basically beat each other up to the point where they basically end up hurting one another, where their careers get damaged, and they're just not really like the same person anymore. And it like I think it's starting to become like a trend now where a lot of people think like these fighters can like emulate Mayweather, but it's like they're not willing to like actually be confident, whenever big fights happen. And I just find it insane because a lot of what the Mayweather promoted fighters or just hype jobs per se, like they've never delivered any of what the Mayweather like protege accolades to ever be close to him.
I mean, as far as doghouse shit is concerned, like, that's number one. That's Mayweather just like entertaining himself with other fighters. In addition to maybe something like whenever someone has a beef, they settle it with doghouse rules. That's what that is. If people want to take that shit to their gyms and use that, that's their prerogative. But yeah, generally speaking, that's not a good fucking idea. Because, the brain is not meant to be hit. So if you can minimize that over a career, then that's the best thing possible. And sometimes injuries happen in sparring. Like the course of boxing was forever changed when Spence got his retina torn, So they gotta be careful with that doghouse bullshit. I mean, you can do it, but not for everybody.
Yeah, it's just crazy. To me, like how I see some of these sparring videos where people just try to like screw over like with their sparring partner and try to like fight dirty and shit. I feel like that should be like a penalty or some shit like that, where like a fighter should be able to like sue like another fighter if they try to go overboard, because some of these fighters just really don't have any control when it comes to like sparring. But it's like, in a real fight, they'll be like the first ones to like start rabbit punching you and treating you, unfair in a fight, because it's like, they think, they're the ultimate badass.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily like mention. I wouldn't necessarily do losses because everyone at the boxing gym signed waivers because death is a possibility. Actually, anybody at any gym signs a waiver because the gym doesn't want to be liable if you slip on a banana peel and like bust your shit. So like I don't know about losses, but they should just be smart. Like for example, it's just like when people say, "Oh my God, Terrence Crawford is knocking out heavyweights in sparring." Like, no, not. Like, oh shit, Shakur Stevenson is destroying heavyweights in sparring. Like, bro, do you think Jared Anderson is in there fucking loading up on Shakur Stevenson itty ass? Like, no, they don't do that. Just like it's just like when they were like, "Oh my God, Canelo's dominating Frank Sanchez in sparring." No, Frank Sanchez is not loading up on Canelo Alvarez. He's a damn money bank. Not about to load up and risk his health. So dudes just gotta be responsible now. If you got beef, men just gotta fight, and that's how that shit gotta go. But other than that, be responsible. You can be responsible in sparring.
Yeah, but it's like, like if somebody tries to have like actual beef with you, and let's just say like, you knock out some professional fighter that wants beef with you, does that make you liable as a person that's not like, into boxing?
No, it doesn't make you liable. That person's fucked up. That person is responsible. That person is responsible for their career, and if they get knocked out by a civilian and look stupid, that's on them. Like nobody told you that. Like if you agree to spar Charlie Zelenoff and he gets off a lucky uppercut and lights your shit up, you look dumb. That's on you. No one told you to spar Charlie Zelenoff. Like nobody told you to do that.
Oh man. Yeah, because I've seen some of those like weird ass people that try to fight professional fighters, and then some of them end up being very successful, but most of the time they get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, like if you're like a 40-year-old like Hank Lundy or some shit, and you're sparring some kid with only a little bit of boxing experience and you get knocked out, that's not an accomplishment. You're 40. Like, the dude is 40. But, if you're some professional actively fighting and you let some kid get over on you, that's you being stupid.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I was going to switch topics, and I was going to also talk about some of the other fight cards with Jojo Diaz versus Zepeda. Who do you got in that?
I got Zepeda by decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is Zepeda's fight to lose. I mean, Jojo Diaz has more experience, but Jojo Diaz can be outthrown. And for some reason, they're the Southpaws. Like they kind of remind me of Janelle Harry. At least Jojo Diaz does. He suffers with beating other Southpaws. He suffers. Like he got a draw against Ramatov.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't look comfortable. He looks like whenever someone outthinks him from a southpaw school of boxing, he gets really hesitant, and he looks really defeated coming into the fights.
That's just how he does things, unfortunately. I mean, don't get me wrong, he does a lot of good strong punches on the inside. He goes to the body very well. He has, decent uppercuts. But he's fought the better opposition. So it looks like Zepeda has a power advantage, but I think they're probably about even because Zepeda's not that good. I mean, Rene Alvarado was getting in his ass the last fight. He had him walking on the rope.
Man, Zepeda was getting his ass beat up.
Yeah, so I'm not. I only say Zepeda by decision because of how I've seen Jojo Diaz fight Southpaws. Cepeda throws a lot of punches, and also he's a rising star on his own. So when they're fattening up, that might be a decent sacrifice if Devin Haney comes back. So yeah, I think that Jojo Diaz probably has to knock his ass out to win it.
Yeah, I think Jojo Diaz's career is basically done. If he loses to a Zepeda, in my opinion, but I mean, I'm not against of him facing all the other lightweights, but I mean, if you're Jojo Diaz, like, who would be your valuable win at lightweight if you had like a chance to be able to beat them?
Well, that's up to Jojo Diaz. I don't think he'd be done because he's only got 3 losses. I mean, he's only got 2 losses, and he's never had a national. Like he's never he's like Danny Garcia and Sean Paul. Like he's never had a national.
Yeah. I agree.
Like well, yeah. So I don't think that his career will be over. I think he just got to train harder, develop some new techniques, and he needs to improve. He needs to change as a fighter. He's been fighting the same way his whole career, and he loses when he steps up too far. He needs to make some alterations. He needs to pick his shots. His punches need to be more accurate, and his pressure's got to be smart pressure. It's like when the reason why he gets 20 rounds on Devin Haney is because he was fighting like the Figueroa brothers. He held him with one hand and hit him with the other, and wonder why he only landed half his punches. Because you're punching with one fucking hand. What you expect?
Yo, Devin was getting frustrated at that fight. He was about to like fight dirty against JoJo, and I was like, Devin, just like throw some low blows on him, dude.
Well, that's what JoJo Diaz said to him. JoJo Diaz was like, "You better pray that we have a good referee because I'm gonna get dirty on you." And JoJo Diaz, that's the only way you can win the fight.
Yeah, I remember at one point in time, when I used Twitter for like the first time, right, and I basically said to JoJo Diaz, like, on Twitter, like, I was being stupid at the time. Like I think I was at, in my last year of high school, senior year, and I basically asked him, why do you fight dirty sometimes, in your fights? And, JoJo was telling me, like, I get frustrated whenever people piss me off, in certain fights. And I was like, really? So that means that, you just admitted being like a dirty fighter. But yeah, JoJo has like no class when he starts fighting dirty. Like even in the fights where he was getting his butt whooped to like Gary Russell, he tried being dirty to Gary, and Gary was dog walking him the entire fight. And it was just funny because it's like, whenever he tried doing that, like he just kept getting beat up, every time he tried, just pulling some dirty shit on you.
I mean, boxing is pretty straightforward, so there's only so much dirty shit you can actually get away with. And people pretty much know, with all due respect, people much know what they're going to get when it comes to, Mexican pressure fighters. That's ultimately what JoJo Diaz is. Like, he can box better than your typical Mexican pressure fighter, don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what he is. So people understand what he's about and what he's going to come with. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to adapt. He hasn't been able to apply that pressure punch with both hands. He hasn't been able to shift around and actually turn people. He hasn't been in a position to actually, apply some of his actual boxing talent with his pressure. He hasn't been in that position.
Yeah, I guess like the real question is like if he had more power, like almost closest to like Gervonta Tank Davis type power, do you think that he would have been able to stop like a lot more people with the style that he has?
Oh well, hell yeah! I mean, you got tank power, yeah. He probably be undefeated right goddamn now. I mean, no, real talk. Because personally, like people was talking about Gary Russell Jr. versus Tank, and I'm like, yeah, maybe when Tank was 18, but like at the time they were talking that shit. Gary Russell Jr. was trying to get laid down out here, bro. Like so yeah. I mean, shit. If he had Tank power, I mean, maybe Devin Haney would still be able to outclass him, but then again, all you need is that one. So it's hard to say. But yeah, I think he definitely would have beat Gary Russell Jr.
Yeah. Um, I was also gonna say, why not have Gary Russell fight Jojo Diaz after this fight?
Because Gary Russell probably don't want to. Gary Russell not only is in the process of training his stable, but much like Terrence Crawford, he's a notoriously difficult person to deal with. And also, he's been known to turn down smoke too. Like I heard, he turned down like $1 million to go across the pond and fight Josh Warrington. He got a contract from he didn't want. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, dude, like you want all this money to fight the elite and you haven't put in any work. Like you can pay what you weigh. That's what's going on with Thurman right now. Thurman don't have no damn opponent because he wants $10 million to do his job. And I'm like, no, man, the top guys do not want to fight you because you're an asshole. We're not about to pay you $10 million with your drawing power to fight upper. You gotta put in the work, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like y'all gotta appreciate fighters. Y'all gotta appreciate fighters like Sean Porter, like Deverenchenko, like Wilder, like Haney while they're here because these dudes want to fight everybody. They don't care about how much bread. Like the thing is, when you fight the people you're supposed to and you get the wins, the money will win. If you're not confident that you're gonna win, get the fuck out of boxing, bro.
Yeah.
Nigga, because you're taking up space.
Yeah, because it's like Gary Russell could have easily turned it. Oh, wait, say that like again? I don't think I heard you. But yeah, you know, like my whole take on it is that basically like Gary Russell screwed himself over in so many fights where he could have been very valuable. But like honestly, like Gary basically just didn't want to put himself in there, you know, with like the highest risk, you know, to be coming in, you know. I don't think I can hear you. Can you hear me? No. I don't think I can hear you. Do you have? Hold on. Try coming out and coming back in if you can. But I'll just finish up like my point. Yeah, like I think Gary Russell, like he could have been like a way bigger marketized attraction if he just took the risk to just go over and beat up on, you know, all the best level, you know, like opponents. But it's just like, you know, he just never decided to take the risk to begin with anyway. And I think that's what caused Gary to be like very Terrence Crawford-ish, to just never take the risk to begin with. But you know, that's his biggest issue. He just doesn't want to, you know, be that type of, you know, risky level, you know, fighter to try to go after like the big opportunities to be, you know, successful as a fighter. But either way, oh, so to kick you, oh, okay, try coming back in. Try coming back in. I didn't get it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, man, that was mad funny. Yeah, like I always like, you know, just have those type of conversations, just crapping on fighters that were just blowing like their opportunities to be great. But yeah, man, Gary Russell, he's definitely like the type of fighter where he's just not doing anything good. But I don't even know what to say. But yeah, man, that was hilarious. But yeah, with all the other fights that are going on, man, we got plenty of good. Looking forward to seeing Troy Isley versus Quincy Lavalle. I think that fight is absolutely lit. And who's the other fight? I like to see Duke Reagan versus Luis LeBron. I think that's going to be a very good fight, by the way. And yeah, there's plenty of good fights, especially on the Roma card. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. Yeah, let me put the link in the chat, and if you're still here, just go through just click on the link and just join through the chat. Hopefully I can put it in. Wait, hold on. Private chat. No. Damn it, man. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'll just come out of here, and I will put it right here. Alright, I got the link in the chat. I just put it there right now for anybody that wants to join in. So, join in if you guys want to, and I'll bring you guys in. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Alright. Alright, there we go. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back.
Alright. Yeah, but what were you saying about Gary Russell?
No, I was saying that Gary Russell's had multiple opportunities to do a bunch of shit that he hasn't done. But also, my thing is, like I said, if you are demanding a massive payday because you're afraid that you might take some damage, and you're not willing to work your way up towards that, then man, get the fuck out of the sport, bro. Because right now, Keith Thurman, I don't know if he's already done this. Keith Thurman, I put it on Twitter. Keith Thurman can be like the young prospect killer right now. He can make his name as the prospect killer. He could be fighting Stanionis. He could be fighting Boots. He could be doing all this shit. But instead, he's like, "Oh, I need a big bag," and I'm like, "Oh my god, okay, well then just go, bro." Because how you gonna lose to Pacquiao, come back against Barrios in the title eliminator, and then demand $10 million? Nigga, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Pacquiao did numbers because Pacquiao. That wasn't Keith Thurman carrying that shit. Barrios trash. I'm sorry, not a trash fighter, but Barrios the fight, nobody cared because we knew people thought that Barrios might get the upset, but Barrios and Keith Thurman individually are not draws.
Yeah.
They're not. And there's no disrespect in saying that. Barrios got big off Tank, and Keith Thurman got big because at once he was the man. At one point he was the man, but then now he acting funny.
Yeah.
I need $10 million because I might basically that's what it is. When a fighter asks for an exorbitant amount of cash for specific fights, they don't have any confidence in themselves, and that's the matter of the situation. Because me, if I was fighting the type of person I am, I know I'm not a professional fighter, but the kind of person I am, I'm thinking, okay, this is all the more incentive for me to win, to get the bigger paydays. I need to run these people over so I can demand more every single time. And honestly, if he was the champ when he was the champ, if he had actually fought Errol Spence, he might have taken that.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know how Keith Thurman is, ever gonna get back up on top, because it's he's just kind of making himself look vulnerable now, because at this point it's he's been out of the ring since February, and we're now heading into 8 months, and at this point Keith Thurman could have been taking out Stanionis and Boots and all the other guys, but it's I think Keith Thurman is going to get sacrificed pretty soon, but I just don't know how that would.
Keith Thurman, it's nobody's fault that after the Pacquiao L, you took a bunch of time off and the division fucked around and got good. That's nobody's fault but your own. You took that time off and now the division is stacked with murderers. You did that to yourself. You could have been in a position to fight a Jamal James or somebody more your speed. But you fucked up, you took a grip of time off, and now the division is full of killers. That is what it is, Keefy baby. You gotta put in some work.
Yeah, but at what point does Keith Thurman lose again? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
If we fight any of the top five, his ass is grass. Terrence Crawford will whoop that ass. Errol Spence Jr. will whoop that ass. Boots definitely whooped that ass. His best chance is against Stanionis, but he probably don't want to fight him. But I think Stanionis probably beat his ass. To be quite honest, his teeth is weak to the body. And everybody know that. And Stanionis clipped that liver one time, double. And Stanionis punch hard.
Yeah, Stanionis could very well be like one of the biggest, upset alerts to beat Keith Thurman. But now that I'm thinking about it, didn't I just hear that Errol Spence tried to, for what?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like I heard that Errol Spence is trying to, he's trying to get the WBC franchise title to basically, like not have Keith Thurman fight him, right?
I haven't heard that, but that makes a lot of sense because he said he wasn't fighting Keith because Keith was acting like a bitch while he was champion. So that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, like they got three mandatories that are two other mandatories that are about to be mandated. I don't know why the WBC can't even calm the fuck down. IBF hasn't had a mandatory on Spence since Ocampo, and the WBO is trying to consolidate. So the WBC needs to sit their greedy ass down somewhere. Through them on always trying to come up on some shit.
Yeah. Because it's like, I think what's going to end up happening in the welterweight division is that Errol Spence is going to move up. Virgil Ortiz is probably going to end up fighting. Honestly, that's going to be very interesting. I don't know who Virgil's going to fight unless he fights Keith Thurman for the vacant belt for the WBC, but I don't think that's going to happen. And on top of that, couldn't Stanionis fight Ugas for the WBA, right? I'm not too sure, but that might be a possible fight. And then after that, I think Jaron Ennis, he'll probably end up fighting for the vacant IBF belt. And then the WBO, obviously Crawford, but yeah, I think 147 is going to look a lot better once Errol Spence, ends up, leaving. Even though that Crawford duffed him, but. Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, I think Crawford is kind of shooting himself in the foot right now because I don't know how the hell he's gonna ever get his $10 million from Black Prime because now I'm hearing this whole Black Prime shit they're trying to get a loan to try to fund the money, but it's I don't think Crawford is really going to get $10 million. I think that fight's gonna fall through. So I think honestly that's probably what's gonna end up happening. But
I don't think it's a loan. I think someone is investing on the premise that they may get their money back through revenue generation, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah, because if Crawford breaks even with Venetian, then does that fulfill the contractual liability for Black Prime?
Well, I don't know what their contracts are. I don't know who the fuck is funding this, but I mean, like I said, best of luck. I hope they get paid or whatever, but I ain't trying to hear shit else from Terrence Crawford, bro. You had the biggest fight. You had the welterweight crown on the line. You ducked it. I don't want to really hear from you again. I'm good. Retired.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford got three paths to redemption. You fight Spence, you fight Boots, or you retire. I ain't trying to hear shit else.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I heard, what you said on Artman's, channel about the Blue Blood situation. What exactly did Blue Blood get into with the whole, conversation with Black Prime?
Well, some of the stuff he said was disingenuous, and some of it was inaccurate. He was saying that the reason why Thurman, Charlo, Adrian Broner, and Crawford were unsuccessful securing fight. Well, he said they were unsuccessful securing fights, and PBC has no fights and has no money for them. And it's like, that's not true. Adrian Broner, Jamal Charlo, and Terrence Crawford had fights. They had fights, they had opponents, they had dates, and they had purses. They all pulled out. And Thurman wants too much money. And what's funny is that Blue Blood accused PBC of not having enough money to pay Crawford, but then he said the reason why he didn't approach Thurman, Crowley, why he didn't approach Thurman or Crowley for Bud was because they asked for too much money. So I'm like, basically, BLK Prime is no different than PBC. You complained at them for not having enough money for Terrence Crawford, but then at the same time, you just said you don't have enough money for Keith Thurman. So y'all doing the same shit.
Yeah, I see. Like, originally, I was thinking like Blue Blood was just kind of like saying like certain lies to like keep Black Prime's business partnership intact. But I just think honestly like it's just poor misinformation because he's like basically saying a certain narrative that doesn't act very truthful, and then on top of that,
Blue Blood, I'm sorry to cut you off, but Blue Blood is walking a very careful line here. Blue Blood is a member of the LDBC. Terrence Crawford fans hate the LDBC. So he's walking a very tight and careful line here because the reality of the situation is Terrence Crawford is his entryway into boxing. Bob Arum used Terrence Crawford to strike a deal with ESPN. Terrence Crawford used himself and the potential of a Spence fight to leverage good money for trash opposition. So at this point, Blue Blood has to publicly assure the LDBC that he's on some pro-black shit, while at the same time defending Terrence Crawford and making Terrence Crawford happy. So he has to walk a very careful line as far as public relations. Now, to the regular, average, ignorant person, he really said some shit. But to me, who knows a thing or two about boxing and a thing or two about how business usually works, is he contradicted himself. Not to mention, Buds fucked his whole shit up when he first said he agreed to everything, and then he said he didn't agree to anything. Why would you do that? If there was nothing that PBC could offer Bud, if they had nothing for Bud, what the hell did Bud agree to? Why? Because the only thing, like, people got to understand, Terrence Crawford ain't been talking. The last time we heard from Terrence Crawford, he said that he agreed to everything on the contract. That's the last public statement Terrence Crawford made. Everybody else is talking either for Terrence or about Terrence.
Yeah.
So I'm going based off of what the man said. The man said he agreed. So what I want to know is, what did he agree to? And can't nobody answer me. Not Terrence Crawford not going to answer me. Blue Blood not going to answer me. Nobody going to answer me. Because the reality is he got everything he wanted. He didn't want the goddamn fight. And I don't understand why people can't accept that shit. Keith Thurman don't want to fight nobody. And we can keep it real about that. Keith Thurman is half black. Keith Thurman, everybody understands that Keith Thurman do not want to fight nobody for real unless it's a major bag, because the reality is his next opponent might retire that ass. Everybody can be honest about that, but we can't be honest about that with Terrence Crawford. Why? What has Terrence Crawford done to where we all have to like
say again?
I said, what has Terrence Crawford done to be like where like we all have to like protect him and love him and worship him and like all the stuff? Like, I appreciate the fact that he's an African American fighter. I really do. But you gotta pay what you weigh, bro. And I don't understand why Terrence Crawford cannot be objectively criticized. Terrence Crawford has never given us a fight we legitimately wanted to see.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford has never given us a fight where we can like really pick against him. It's just like, bro, like I don't know, man. It's whatever, but you're not gonna do that pro-black shit to me because Errol Spence is also.
Yeah. But
I got a bunch of goofy. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna add in, like, I just didn't like the misinformation that Blue Blood was saying because, like when I started talking, like against that, people wanted to say to me like, "Oh no, man, that's not true." Blah blah blah. Terrence Crawford is just basically getting his money. Blah blah blah. Well, if that's not the case, and Blue Blood is not, spreading any misinformation, then he should have, heavily encouraged Terrence Crawford to go after Errol Spence because Terrence Crawford has no excuse to fighting David Ebenezer. And then on top of that, why would you lie to the audience to say that Crawford and Spence could be happening, but on top of that, turn a blind eye and then say, "Oh well, Crawford claimed to say that he signed his end of the deal to have up the fight made with Spence, but on top of that, Crawford just doesn't end up speaking up the truth, and you try to basically fool what the audience to say that that Crawford and Spence is going to happen, but then try to say like, oh well, but the fight's going to be held up to like early 2023 or heading into like the near future, and it's like no, but the truth of what the matter is that Crawford and Spence will never happen because it's like Crawford could have fought Spence right now, but it's like why do we have to wait basically a lot longer for Crawford to basically have like a quote unquote tune-up with David Ebenezer, who wasn't really active at all heading into 2022 that much. And even in 2021, I think he only had like 2 or 3 fights, but still, David Ebenezer did not do anybody notable to be considered for like a Crawford fight. So the only reason
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the only reason why Crawford picked Ebenezer was because they were already working something out behind closed doors. And I even said it on various channels. Crawford was using Ebenezer as fighter insurance to basically use him, as like a monetary backup to say, okay, well, I'm basically going to screw myself to duck Spence, so I'll just go Ebenezer and say that Spence ducked me. So this is basically like my stay busy fight, or I'll just lie to say I'm still going to fight Spence, but I'm going to use Ebenezer as like a excuse to say, well, Spence didn't want to work well with the business with me, so Ebenezer just uses like a quote unquote tuna, and Crawford just basically stolen out Spence, and he's pissing him off at the same time.
Well, look, I'm gonna say 2 things. Number one, Ebenezer is a shitty tune-up for Spence because number 1, he's not good. Number 2, he's a year younger than Terrence Crawford, and number 3, he's not even a fucking southpaw, so that's bullshit. Number two, Terrence Crawford could have taken the Spence fight and still done the BLK deal.
Yeah,
that's what people don't understand. Terrence, you could take the Spence fight and still do the BLK Prime deal. So people keep making it seem like he had to pick one or the other. No, he could have fought Spence and still done the BLK Prime deal. Them niggas got Adrian Broner fighting 3 times in 12 months. They ain't going nowhere. They gonna have that money again. If all this money is really, really real, they could have waited on Terrence Crawford. All they got is Broner, and to keep it 100, we don't even know if Broner really gonna fight. Broner pulled out of his last fight talking about mental health issues, which I now think might have been something else. But yeah, we don't know. We don't even know if Adrian Broner's gonna fight. He's very out of shape. He's not even close to at weight. So we don't know what division he's fighting in, if he's gonna fight, where he's gonna fight. So, like I said, you got 2 of the most business illiterate and people in boxing, and you talking about they really about to do something. It's like, you don't know.
Oh man, that's gonna be so funny. And I don't know why Black Prime would even pick up Crawford and AB, because if they're gonna build them up to fight each other, then that means Spence to just move up to 54. And let's just say if Crawford and Broner, they do fight each other, how does that help their career as a fighter? Like,
they both get paid and rob the fucking bank like they've been doing. Like Terrence Crawford, if you really want to keep it 100, he was robbing the fuck out of ESPN for the opposition that he's had. Like he's gotten paid a lot of money not doing any fucking thing. Like not doing anything at all. So I mean, like I said, they're gonna get paid good, and that's all cheesy, but outside of that, we're not getting shit. And what's funny is that Black Prime is supposed to be like changing the game. They're supposed to be doing something innovative. They're supposed to be fixing fixing what's broken in boxing or whatever. And no, you're just giving us pay-per-views that we also don't want to see. But you're like, well, basically, Blue Blood is like, if PBC gonna do it, God damn it, we gonna do it, and that's cool. I'm all good with niggas getting paper. That's perfectly fine with me. But
man, I want to get paid.
Right? Yeah, I'm cool. But don't try to lie and make it seem like this is something that it's not. Because number one, BLK Prime is not a black-owned business. I will say that it's not a black-owned business. Not that that matters. But number two, like, PBC is black-owned. But number two, like, what you're saying is not true. Like, Jamal Charlo had a back injury and multiple legal issues. Adrian Broner had a fucking mental health crisis, and keep in mind, Adrian Broner pulled out like a week before the fight. Yeah. Terrence Crawford refused to sign a contract, and Keith Thurman, like Blue Blood said, Keith Thurman wants too much money to participate in fights. So I'm like, you question PBC's logic, but even you didn't touch a fighter because they asked for too much money. Shit, why is that crazy for Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford was allegedly in that bitch asking for 22 fucking million. Nigga. Are you insane?
22 to Spence?
He was according to reports from a boxing scribe that's familiar with negotiations that did an interview, he came in the office initially asking for $22 million.
Get the fuck out of here.
And they finally ended up talking him down to 8.5 plus the back end. Keep in mind, this is the largest guarantee. This is the largest guarantee that he's ever got in his entire life. He got like 6 to 7 million to fight Porter. So they were about to give him 8.5 plus, I believe, 35% of the back end. I'm not sure about the 35%, but I can confirm that 8.5 is the figure I heard. So I'm just like, bro, that's how I know that the fight not gonna happen, bro. Because you could have had that 8.5 plus whatever Spence generated, whooped his ass, and then you could have signed with Black Prime. And dude, you would have had the entire.
You would have made like 30 to almost like $50 million.
It's not even the money at that point. You would have taken the entire welterweight division over to Black Prime. That means anybody that won a welterweight title got to go to Black Prime.
So good.
That would have put Black Prime on the map. But they knew that Terrence Crawford. They knew that Terrence Crawford never planned on fighting Errol Spence, and they taking advantage. They taking advantage just like Terrence Crawford is taking advantage his entire career. And it's cool, homie. Just say that shit. Keep it real. It's just like Ryan Garcia doing with Tank. Every time Ryan Garcia is about to have a bullshit fight, he starts sucking Tank dick. I'm gonna fight Tank. I'm gonna fight Tank. Negotiations. The zone can't make the fight. Showtime. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. You fought Fortuna with no problems. You fought Fortuna, and then like Jojo Diaz. Also good. Fortuna's a bad example. Jojo Diaz fought Ramakov on Showtime and then came right back to the zone to fight again. And he's a goddamn golden boy fighter. And so is Ryan Garcia. So I don't want to hear no bullshit excuses, man.
Yeah,
you don't want to fight. Yeah, he don't want to fight Tank, bro. That's just it. He's doing what Terrence Crawford has done. And he's doing what Tyson Fury did. After the first Wilder fight, they were supposed to run that smoke back, but Tyson Fury bullshitted around and got in 2 other fights. He leveraged. I can fight Wilder again on ESPN because we got to draw that one time. He leveraged that shit into getting more money out of Bob Arum than he was supposed to, and he got 2 bullshit fights. He fought fucking Otto Wallin and Schwartz. Like, bro, these tactics is shit Terrence Crawford learned at Top Rank. And that's all he's doing, bro. He's leveraging the situation. So when he goes to promoters, he can be like, well, there's always the Spence fight, and you're gonna make a lot of money, so you got to give me a big ass guarantee because I'm gonna bring the Spence fight. He never was planning on bringing the Spence fight, bro. He never. And I feel bad. I'm going extra hard because I was wrong. I thought Terrence Crawford really wanted to smoke. My dumbass. And keep in mind, I recanted this statement after I saw Charlo v. Castano 2. My dumbass said in a Twitter space that Terrence Crawford could beat Jermell Charlo with my whole chest. Now, I said this at one point because I really believed in Terrence Crawford. But after Castano 2, I changed my mind on that. But now, nah, man. But now, like even Terrence Crawford doesn't think he beats Errol Spence. And you notice while he was negotiating with Errol Spence and shit, he was talking about Charlo. What the fuck you talking about Charlo for? What are you talking about Charlo for? He's in a division above you. He's already undisputed. You think the negotiations going to go better with Charlo? Number one, Charlo does not like you. Number two, Charlo has smart people around him. Number three, Charlo is an asshole. He will screw you harder than Errol Spence did. Like if you try to negotiate with Charlo, you think you're gonna get 8.5 million? No, Charlo gonna fuck you super hard because he does not like you, bro. And now like I said, after Castano too, Charlo will kick your ass, dog. Charlo will probably knock you the fuck out of here, dude. Because you're gonna try to get in there and bang with Charlo. Your shots might get him off balance, but they're not gonna hurt him. They're not gonna wobble him, and he's gonna bang right back. And he'll smoke your ass, dog. Like, man.
Yeah, he's gonna beat the living crap out of him.
And the thing is, Bud knows that, because the fact that you're not willing to fight Spence tells me you don't want to fuck with Charlo. I mean, personally, I think Spence is probably the better fighter, because even Charlo don't want to fuck with Spence. Spence was like, oh yeah, after I moved to 154, I can fight Charlo. Charlo talking that we friends bullshit. I'm like, nah, I know what that means. That means somebody was over there getting bullied in sparring. Anytime somebody start talking that friendship shit, that means somebody getting bullied. That means somebody was getting their ass whooped in sparring. That's all that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it means.
Yeah, like I want to see Charlo just move up to 50 to 160, and then I don't know what Jamal's gonna do, but I think Jamal should just go up to 68 and let Spence get undisputed at a 154, because 154 is gonna be like wide open. Like,
nah, I think because Big Charlo got some business to handle. Big Charlo, he should try to clip Adames. He should try to get Selecki, Adames, and Triple G, and then be out as long as he can make the weight comfortably. I think Big Charlo, what he should do is, because Errol Spence, if you let all the belts go, Errol Spence it's gonna take years to get undisputed at 154 again. So I think what he should do. I think what Errol Spence should do, Errol Spence should go to 154, make Danny Garcia 2, knock him the fuck out. And then Charlo, once Charlo get finished with Timothy, make that fight. Don't be a bitch, Charlo. Help your brother get some bread. Y'all both make a gang of money. And then if you fucking lose, then Spence can be undisputed, and then you can move up in weight. It's fine. And then if you win, you beat Errol Spence, and Errol Spence, fucking Errol Spence will fight somebody else. He'll fight Keith Thurman at 154. He'll fight, I don't know, maybe fucking Terrence Crawford will grow a sack after seeing Errol Spence lose once and maybe fight him and then get beat up. So, it just depends. But yeah, that's a good fight. They need to go ahead and get that money while it's hot.
Shit, I would do it.
And not to mention, Jermell Charlo already has a loss. Like, I understand it was like a bullshit loss. Don't get me wrong. Like, you arguably won, but you already have a loss. And the good thing is, like, if the middleweight division is weak as fuck, so if people see Charlo get beat up, they're going to be less inclined to duck him, and he's going to whoop a lot of ass he wouldn't have got to whoop. That's why people are scared of Jamal Charlo, because they've never seen him lose. Like, they've seen him look vulnerable, but they've never seen him lose. And you notice, even though like the Montiel fight was whatever, nobody at middleweight is calling out Charlo. Nobody at middleweight is like, oh yeah, I want the Charlo fight. Like, nobody is saying that shit.
Yeah,
so people
don't want it.
Yeah, so despite casuals talking that shit, real boxing people know what Jamal Charlo is. So they know it's not sweet. They know it's not a game. Benavidez is talking that shit because he always fights people that come up from 154. Like, his last 3 fights are niggas that came up 2 divisions. Like, fight somebody your size, nigga. Like, he didn't even want to fight Andrade. Fucking Sampson gets on the internet talking about, oh yeah, we'll fight Canelo for no matter what the money is, but we need $7 million for Andrade. What? From little ass middleweight Andrade, you got a guy over there that's supposed to be fighting at cruiserweight, and you need $7 million for Andrade, bro. Man, get that bullshit out of here.
Did you see that Blue Blood video where I believe he was talking to Sampson, right? He looks like that, white looking dude, right? But he was saying that David Morrell could potentially be facing David Benavidez in May, right?
They should both fight next. David Morrell got a good opponent up. He's an undefeated Russian dude, so that dude's got a little bit of hype on him. I think Morrell should beat him probably by decision, if not knockout, because that dude's very slow. But we don't know what his chin is like. But yeah, David Morrell gonna beat that dude. And then fucking Benavidez is fighting goddamn Uskadagi next. So hell yeah, they both ain't got no excuse. People keep talking all this shit about how Morrell camp said they weren't ready. I'm like, bro, because they have good smoke lined up. David Benavidez is unfortunately he's the boogeyman, but at the same time, like, you get nothing from fighting him really because he's stupid and lost his belt. So that's on him. He's kind of like the Andre of that division where he's just languishing. I mean, he has some decent wins, but nobody special. But I'm gonna say this. The first person that fights David Benavidez like they are not afraid of him is gonna beat him.
Yeah, I think
all Benavidez has right now is the fear factor. The people see the fear factor. Benavidez is there to be hit. Yes, he is fast. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he has a good gas tank and stuff, but his boxing ability is not all there, and he is there to be hit. You just have to apply enough pressure to get him up off you. You have to hit him hard enough to get him up off you. And personally, I'm not saying that I'm not giving a prediction right now because the fight might not ever be made. But people think that Benavidez will run Charlo over. That shit isn't sweet because Big Charlo is undefeated right now. And if you put him in a situation where he feels like he's gonna lose or get knocked out, he will brawl. God damn it. He's not like Jamel that had trouble letting his hands go on Castano. If Jamal was at 154 fighting Castano would have got put the fuck to sleep. Like people think Maul is a game because his career has been languishing. I'm like, no, bro. And now that he's back at camp, hopefully he's got his back together and regulated his wife issues. He can watch, bro. He's gonna come back and motherfuckers gonna be talking that same shit. He's not a draw. He doesn't deserve a Triple G. But I'm like, bro, man, Triple G saw Jamal coming a mile away and was like, oh hell no. Ain't no way I'm gonna get knocked the fuck out by some damn Charlo. No, I'd rather fight Canelo's no gas tank having ass.
Yeah, I think Benavidez, if he fights Caleb Plant in the future, I think Caleb Plant might fuck around and dominate Benavidez. I think he could stop him.
Nah, I think Benavidez will run Caleb Plant over.
Why?
Because Caleb Plant, number one, hasn't really, like, Durrell is his best opponent. I mean, come on now. Like, you can give him credit for his Scott DeGee, but first of all, you got to be able to land those shots. Benavidez is very long. Caleb Plant, I'm not going to say Caleb Plant doesn't have an inside game, but he's not going to be able to hang inside with Benavidez. Benavidez is going to put the heaters on his ass, throw like 15 left hooks in a row, and like, Caleb Plant not going to be able to do anything. The best Caleb Plant can do is try to hit David a few times and make sure that David doesn't land back. But once David lands back and he gets him on the ropes and start throwing those combinations, bro, he gonna run Caleb Plant over. Like, I understand Caleb Plant got a cool little knockout over Durrell and nobody expected that, but it's like one performance doesn't it's Durrell. Durrell got cocky. Durrell was fighting with his hands down because Durrell convinced himself that Caleb Plant couldn't punch. And Durrell forgot that this was boxing and that anything could happen. He didn't respect Caleb Plant and he paid for it. That's on Durrell. Benavidez is big as fuck. Second off, his chin is significantly higher and harder to reach than Durrell. And also, Benavidez, though he gets hit, he doesn't like getting hit. He doesn't take it easily. He's not like his dumbass brother who like enjoys walking into punches. No, he puts his hands up, he pivots, he pushes back, and he jabs. So no, I think Benavidez will run Caleb Plant the fuck over. And it's going to be funny because I didn't hear Caleb Plant say he wanted Benavidez next. He didn't call him out and say, after who's got the key, let me get some. He didn't say none of that shit. He was talking about my wife and my baby and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, get your pussy ass on, bro. Yeah. But I know that Benavidez fucked up, lost his belt because he's unprofessional. I understand that. But if you really wanted some smoke, y'all you could wait till after he's finished with his Gatsuki and come get some. Or Caleb Plant could be talking about Charlo. He could be talking about Morrell. He could be talking about fucking Danny Jacobs. He could be talking about somebody. He ain't talking about shit. He's talking about, we'll see. I'll fight anybody. I'm like, yeah, y'all always say that until motherfuckers become available. Like at one point, Lomachenko was like, "I'll fight anybody anywhere." Then Devin Haney came up. He said, "Oh shit."
Yeah, do you see what this guy said?
Yeah, I agree. David Benavidez said he wanted Caleb day one. I agree that, and he should get it. I'm saying Caleb is the one that probably don't want it at this point, because Caleb, we've seen Caleb get knocked smooth unconscious, whereas Benavidez is we've only seen him get knocked down. So I'm agreeing with you, dude. I'm saying Caleb probably doesn't want it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So because I didn't hear that energy. Fucking Benavidez is crazy. He called everybody from 160 to 168 some bitches, and ain't nobody giving this man no heat. Man, somebody gotta beat his ass for that, because y'all look terrible. Charlo, Plant, Morrell, Canelo, all y'all look like trash. If David Benavidez can freely label all y'all some bitches, and then y'all not want to beat him up, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I think Benavidez is like Tommy Hearns, but like the Mexican version, where like nobody don't want to fight him until like people actually press him. But I think Benavidez, he's an old school guy. He's trying to fight the best opposition as best as he can, but he's not rushing it. He's taking one fight at a time, and honestly, I think Benavidez, like, if he gets like another trainer, that's better than his father, I think he could turn into like a bona fide boxer puncher. Because, when I saw him box against David Lemieux, he looked absolutely ferociously dangerous. And even though Lemieux's not a actual super middleweight, but that fight showed me that when you have somebody that tries to move away from you in a ring, that's trying to move more rather than roll with you. David made like a quick adjustment to break him down easily, and if he continues to work on boxer puncher like abilities more, then I think David Benavidez can turn into like a really savage fighter.
Well, also you got to take into account Lemieux's not good.
Yeah,
Lemieux has never in life been good.
Yeah.
Like how many dudes are we gonna certify for whooping David Lemieux's ass? Like Lemieux's never been good. He wasn't good at 154. He wasn't good at 160, and he's not good now. That's why the nigga retired. Like David Lemieux's not good. So I'm not gonna say all that. I'm definitely not gonna compare fucking Benavidez to no damn Hearns. That's for sure. But no, he's more puncher than boxer, and honestly, I think he should play to his strengths. I mean, that's what attracts people to him. He gets a lot of knockouts, he throws a lot of punches, and he doesn't get hit too much. I mean, he gets hit clean, but he doesn't get hit too much. So I think he should stick to what he's doing. I mean, he definitely jabbing a little bit more these days, which is cool. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna give him props for fucking Lemieux. Lemieux fucking sucks. Lemieux has never in his life been good. So fuck that. But like I said, if you remember, Ronald the Thrill Gavril from fucking Mayweather Promotions, who didn't know Benavidez was, and Benavidez is also, his skills hadn't developed much, but Ronald Gavril fought him like he wasn't afraid of him, and he was so close to beating him that they honestly had to run it back, because some people said that fight was a draw, whereas the second fight, Ronald Gavril fought like he was afraid of Benavidez, because he realized Benavidez had learned some shit, and that's why he lost more decisively. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you go in, you have an active jab, you rip to Benavidez's body, his feet are already slow, he'll stop moving. You throw your shots, and you step off the line. It's the same way you gotta fight Fundora. You throw your shots and then you step off and step over. And if you land enough to the body and to where his feet are stagnant, you get him against the ropes and then you go for the head.
Yeah, I agree. I think David is very vulnerable to the body too, and I've been saying this to some other fighters, but if you crack him with like a good 1-2 body shot, especially connected with like a 1-2 and then 4-5 it down the path, and then use like a good hook combination with it, I think David would get knocked out.
Well, no, because Benavidez is fat. So that's the problem. He's got a lot of fat protecting his fucking organs. Like, don't get me wrong, when he weighs in When he weighs in, he looks like he looks like, you can penetrate him or whatever. But when he actually goes into the fights and reinflates, he's a big ass dude. Because as a child, he was 300 pounds. People gotta understand. As a child, he was big as fuck. So they're effectively fighting someone who probably should be at heavyweight, but he's not. He managed to cut down and make 168. So when he rehydrates, he's huge. So that's why the body isn't a super good strategy. I mean, if you want to, get some shots in, sure, but you're leaving your head open. So you got honestly, somebody got to come in and chin check David like he did with Gavril to make him think twice and focus on defense. You got to get in there, and if he's coming at you, shoot some body shots to slow his feet. But once he slows his feet, you got to go for the head when he's on the ropes. When he's in that high guard, you got to put some work in and really try to hit him in the head, and not just hit him in the head. You got to hit him in the eye. You got to hit him in the neck. You got to hit him in the solar plexus. Like, you got to really do some damage to get him to adjust. Because if he doesn't respect your power, you're done. He's gonna walk you down. He's gonna run you over. Like Caleb Plant, bro. Like, man, I'm sorry, but I don't see him doing shit. I don't see him doing any fucking damage.
Yeah, I think Plant's best option is probably honestly I don't know who would be like a proper opponent for him, but I was gonna say maybe go after Edgar Berlanga.
That's a waste of time. Berlanga ain't shit. And not to mention he's a top rank, and Berlanga don't want to fight nobody real right now. That's why, fuck Berlanga. But anyways, I gotta do something. So, did you want to talk about this weekend's cards?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you some other matchups that are happening tomorrow. For the top rank card, and then definitely on the Jojo Diaz card too. That card is pretty lit, and I wasn't gonna bring up the Jake Paul, Silva card. I think that card looks kind of trash.
Oh yeah, they allowed that fight to proceed, even though they had to medically examine Anderson Silva because he's been getting knocked out of sparring. And it's just like, bro, he's fucking 58. Yeah, this is bad. This is terrible for his health, but apparently the rent is due, and he makes good money doing this shit, so it's whatever. But I don't even understand why they wasted time. They're doing medical examination. I'm like, yeah, this is bad. He's been knocked out multiple times in the UFC. He's old as fuck, and yeah, he's starting to get his ass beat in sparring because you're 58. You're not supposed to be fighting young people. So whatever, man. If Jake Paul gets in here and fucks his shit up, that's not gonna prove anything. You knocked out someone that's 58.
No, I even confessed it. I think it was under one of Amanda Serrano's posts, and I literally said how does this win value Jake Paul's career? Anderson Silva's an absolute bum, in boxing. But if Silva was an actual real fighter, Jake Paul would get knocked out, bad. It's just that, Jake Paul is heavily comfortable going after all these UFC fighters that don't have any boxing experience. But it's let him fight Tristan Kalkruth at cruiserweight, he gets knocked out, or any other killer that's not afraid to basically light him up.
Yeah. So that's whatever. I'm not tripping on Jake Paul, but I'm in my car outside of where I'm supposed to be at, so I don't have access to I don't have access to the card information. So who's gonna let's do the Zepeda Diaz card. I picked Jose Zepeda for the decision on that one, but hopefully JoJo pulls it out because that'll be a good win on JoJo's record. Yeah. Undefeated prospect who's got 26 wins and 23 knockouts. That'd be super good for JoJo.
Yeah, I think JoJo he'll benefit more from the win, but I don't think JoJo's a bum. I think JoJo's a very good fighter. It's just that he just needs to like you said, keep getting better. That's all. He's not old. He's 29 years old, and he's basically in his prime right now. So it's he shouldn't really have any reason to lose. So But actually, some other fights that are on that card. Let me take a look at it. Um, there was yeah, the other fights that are on this card is who else is fighting? Oh, um, Alexis Roca. He's on the card. He's fighting this really good fighter. His name is Jesus Antonio Perez. He's like 24-4 out of Mexico. And shit, who's the other fight? Yeah, this card is really not that good. It's just like a bunch of nobodies that I've never heard of, except for like the women's card, but or like the women's fight. But yeah, this card doesn't really, impress me.
Well, it's a random DAZN card. They're just trying to feed JoJo Diaz and Zepeda. The main event is a non-title fight, so it's just two contenders fighting for position. So it's whatever. Yeah, JoJo Diaz, and again, JoJo Diaz just lost to Devin Haney. So this is the reality. You got to get in with a young killer, and at least JoJo's not afraid to do that. I'm not saying that Zepeda is some destructive monster killer, but this is the reality of what happens when you don't win. You get set back in the rankings. You got to fight the young and upcoming bulls, like Jose, William Zepeda is like the equivalent in that division at 135 to like a Stanionis type person, to like a Boots type person. I'm not saying he's on the same skill level, but he's an undefeated young prospect that's hungry and wants to get a title. And this is why motherfuckers be scared to lose, because you gotta come back and fight these people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you think let's just say if Diaz wins, do you think that the next fight will be him and Pitbull Cruz?
No, I don't think he's gonna fight Pitbull, and not necessarily because he's scared or anything. Maybe he might be. I don't fucking know, but I just don't see that fight happening. Especially, I know Cruz will take anything to get his hands on, especially if he just fought Zerdito. So no, but I just don't see it. I don't think that he's gonna want to do all of that at this time, especially because Cruz isn't even in. I don't even think Cruz is in a position to get a title eliminator. If it's a title eliminator for a mandatory, then sure, why the fuck not? But if it's for absolute,
Cruz actually got the WBC interim title, right? I thought he did against Zerdito.
Oh well, if that's the case, then I definitely don't see it happening. Because why the fuck would you do that just to fight Devin Haney again? No, I don't see that.
Yeah. Or if Devin Haney just vacates to go up to 140, then he could basically.
They might try to make the Cruz for a vacant belt. Yeah, that might be a fight that gets made, but it just depends. But I don't see that shit happening next.
Yeah. I was gonna switch over to the Loma card. There's some very good fights on that card with Troy Isley versus Quincy Lavalle.
Yeah, Troy Isley's cool. He's been making some steady improvements. I mean, ESPN just has a very gifted marketing department, because they're putting these these are the future stars of boxing. I'm like, man, who's I'm like, oh, okay, who the fuck does Troy Isley smoke in middleweight right now? Who does he smoke? Exactly. Come on, bro.
Yeah, he should fight Austin Williams. I'm down for that.
Austin Williams would probably beat his ass right now. I mean, it depends on which Austin Williams shows up. But for example, that one dude, I think Aleem beat him, but that one guy that Aleem fought, I call her Vidal.
Oh yeah, Vidal. Yo, I even brought. I brought that to Isley. I literally Vito could fuck around and stop him.
Vito will run Troy Isley the fuck over. I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. They're certifying all these dudes that got within 10 fights. I'm like, dude, who are these niggas? Who are these people? These are the same people that tried to convince me that Montana Love was the second coming of Adrian Broner. I'm like, are y'all serious? Just the disrespect to Adrian Broner is fucking insane. And then when Montana Love started getting his ass whooped, all of a sudden it's like, I'm not high on him no more. I'm like, yeah, dude, I tried to tell you, fucking idiots.
Yeah, like I was talking to OTB like about that, and he was trying to tell me, "Nah, man, Montana Love, he good, man." And I'm like, "Bro, this
He's
is
not.
fucking garbage." I would beat his ass so bad.
Because he stopped Baranchik, bro. Baranchik's not good. Baranchik is fucking terrible. Baranchik supposed to be this awesome super knockout power puncher. It took him five knock. He knocked down. He knocked Zepeda down like 4 or 5 times just to still get knocked out. Like, bro, Baranchik's fucking trash.
Dude.
Oh, they be talking all like, dude, they just be certifying anybody who looks good one time. Like, god damn, shit makes me so mad.
Yeah. Honestly, the other fight that's on the Loma card that I think is gonna be a major upset is Duke Reagan versus Luis LeBron, and I was there for Luis LeBron's last fight against Henry Moncho LeBron on the Berlanga card, and even though he didn't look super duper good, I actually thought he actually could have edged it out, in that win, but um, if he does show back up in that fight to actually beat Reagan, I think that's going to be like a major upset for Duke.
Mm, based on what I've seen from both fighters, I would still pick Duke Reagan to win that one, but we'll see. We'll see. I think Duke. I think Duke is steadily adapting from his previous fights. I mean, his style is very boring, but he has an active jab. He doesn't sit there and let you hit him. He pivots off angle after he throws his shots. I think he'll still decision LeBron, but hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Even in his last fight against D'Angelo Fuentes, he actually got hurt real bad multiple times, where he looked like he was about to get stopped.
Oh.
But
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they both didn't look stellar their last fights, but I think Duke Reagan, having learned from that experience, will come back because Duke Reagan is one of those people that can, he can. I think he has that style where he can make some tweaks and adjustments to his style, be a little bit more aggressive where it's needed, and be a little bit more defensively responsible where it's also needed. So, yeah, I think Duke still pulls that one out.
yeah, the other fight that I'm looking forward to is Tiger Johnson against that Esteban Garcia guy. I think that's going to be a war.
Tiger Johnson is another dude that people are certifying as like the truth, and I'm like, bro, he's just big. Like, I have not seen anything that indicates he is going to be some major super duper. He fights at 130, right?
He fights at 147, but he claims
Tiger Johnson is a welterweight.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking man, bro. Tiger Johnson ain't shit right now, bro. Like until I see something else, bro. Like, who at welterweight is he about to really fuck with? Like, dude, honestly, yeah, like, bro, like
Punch could definitely f him up, and probably Mark Reyes can definitely probably mess him up.
dude, like Stanionis will beat his ass, but like honestly, I don't certify anybody until I think they can like really hang in the top 10. Like, dudes just be like, oh, they're super good. I'm like, based off of what? Like, if it's just the eye test, that's just an opinion. I don't certify anybody until I think they can be top 10 competitive in their division.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tiger Johnson, as of now, I don't see shit special.
Yeah. Honestly, I have a feeling that he's just gonna stay quiet until he gets put into like the hype train. Because it's like everyone's really trying to hype him up so bad, but he's not saying anything until like things really start to get hyped up on him. And his like last 2-3 fights, I was hearing like Timothy Bradley saying, "Oh yeah, man, Tiger Johnson gonna go out there and just beat up on every single welterweight, man. Like he has like all the tools in the."
Timothy Bradley is a fucking employee, and he has to say that. But anyways, I do have to go though. So.
Okay. I'll definitely chop it back up, after the fights. But, oh man, I can't wait for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, bro. Y'all make sure to subscribe.
Yes, sir. All right, talk with you later. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Shout out to the mighty LDBC TWT family, and yeah, man, on to the next one, and more content coming out, man. We're gonna grow the channel to be big again, and yeah, that's my goal, man. So appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys very, very soon, and shout out to D and I'll see you guys later. Bye.